Hey everyone, we are back again with more layers. I'm Seth Moriano.
And I'm Jordan Smith, and welcome to episode 29 of More Layers.
Is it? I
I
um
believe so.
I'm pretty sure it's the 30th, but close enough.
I was about to say, we've been doing this for quite a while, and either way, it's still a big number.
Yeah, well, the night we're recording this is the Monday before St. Patrick's Day on March the 14th, 22.
Yeah, normally we record these on the Sunday of each week, but I did have one or two things come up, and thankfully, Seth here was very understanding, very flexible. So thank you, Seth, for adjusting.
Yeah. Now, I have a pretty boring calendar as it is, so it worked out.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we are here tonight mostly discussing stage musicals. That's our big table talk discussion topic of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what we normally do is we'll take a topic each week that we usually select the week before, and we'll ask some questions. We have some answers on both sides. And once we get through that, we have something called game time, where usually there's like a quiz or some fun little game that we have the other do, if we can think of one. And the last segments that we have are news that bites and news that rocks. News that bites is any sort of news story or something in our personal lives that maybe wasn't as good as we would have liked, or it just was downright bad. And then news that rocks is the exact opposite, where it's something good that happened, again, whether in our personal lives, and then or some big positive news story. And at that point, we usually give our closing remarks. And once we're done, we usually select a topic for next week.
Yeah, that's right. And so, as I said, this time it is stage musicals. And what we always do with this portion of the show is for this season, we are discussing table talk questions. We have some questions that I've written down, and we share our thoughts, our answers to those.
Yep.
And so, again, this is stage musicals today. And I started, the first thing I wrote down was, what are some fond memories you have of seeing musicals in the past?
Now, I certainly have had a few, but there's a couple for me that I would definitely say stand out. One being seeing a production of Newsies, because I'd seen the movie and I wanted to see the stage version. And everyone who I saw on stage doing that show, you need a lot of energy to do it, especially if you're one of the titular Newsies. And it because of that, it just looks like so much fun. At one point, I did audition. I didn't get a part, but that's okay. I hope at one point I get to, because again, it just looks so much fun. And then the other one was the first and currently only time I saw a stage adaptation of Phantom of the Opera, because it was kind of my parents' goal to have myself, my brother, and my sister to have all of us see Phantom of the Opera on stage at least once. And at one point, my brother and sister already had, and they at one point were able to take me, and it was a fantastic experience.
Now, were these performances you saw local, or where were these?
These were local. One of them was a middle school near us, but the kids made it very convincing, very believable. And the Phantom of the Opera was, I want to say it was through the RBTL theater group. I'll have to ask my mom about that later, but it was a bigger production to where it could look like Broadway, but it wasn't Broadway.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, RBTL stands for Rochester Broadway Theater League, and that's a theater community here in Rochester, New York. I wrote down a few things. Mostly these are shows that have that were in my school building here in Greece, New York. And I put down Wizard of Oz, Peter Pan, and Shrek, all Athena Productions. That was my school.
Okay.
And yeah, and big reason more than anything, I think, is because, I subsequently got to know several of the kids who participated in those, and few of them have become my friends. And well, in the case with Shrek, I got to know several of them when we did Shrek at Artists Unlimited, which is the theater or community that Jordan and I are both part of.
Mhm.
And the performances themselves were good, and stories, and yeah, so those for sure. Beauty and the Beast, at least the recent Spencerport High School production that was done. One person who volunteered in our Lion King production was a lead in that production. You also saw that. Yeah. And then there was just one other one. It's not really, I don't think it's like a big, like, professional thing. It was more like a sort of community theater thing that happened. I was in Buffalo. I saw a little biblical show that my cousin did based on the book of Acts of the Apostles. It was relatively creative, but close enough looking take on the book of Acts of the Apostles, and it was an interesting show.
All right.
All right, and then next question was, what are some of your favorite musical numbers?
Well, I'm a big music guy, so I could go on for a while about this, but
That'd be okay with me.
well, a couple of them I may sound a little biased because they're Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast and Under the Sea from Little Mermaid, and it's not just because I played the character that sang those songs, but part of the reason those two are my favorite are because when we did them with the Artist Unlimited cast, everyone was having a blast. Everyone was getting excited, even the people in the audience. And I think we had our biggest audience reaction when we did Under the Sea. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's more exciting when the audience cheers so loud and enthusiastically at the end of it, which,
Absolutely.
yeah, probably one of my favorite moments, from performing Shrek was at the end of Our Number Freak Flag, like when people erupted into enthusiastic applause. It sounded so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I actually wrote down another song from Shrek, that being Believer. Now, I know this wasn't originally from Shrek, but when they implemented it into the movie and then the stage version, it's what I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but it's what you would often see in an animated film, especially nowadays, where they throw in just a random musical number at the end that ends up being like a party. And that's pretty much what Believer is. It brings out all the energy, brings out everyone just having fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. All those ones you listed have plenty of energy and fun to them, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down a few of my own. One was from Phantom of the Opera, which you mentioned earlier, specifically the titular song. You've got the contrast between the one timid character and the one strong, dangerous person, and
Right.
yeah, and you've got this dramatic vibe that runs throughout it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I get that.
yeah, yeah. And then I put down the first number in the musical The Music Man, which I saw a performance of many years ago and saw the movie starring Matthew Broderick. And at the beginning of the story, there's this number. Basically, what happens is the rhythm or the movement of the train that the characters are riding on pretty much drives the rhythm. So, as the train is picking up speed, the song picks up speed. As it's coming to a stop, it's
Mhm.
slowing down accordingly, which is an interesting, unusual concept for me.
I mean, unusual can be good.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's kind of a nice creative thing. And then I put a song from another show I saw at my high school, Guys and Dolls, called Adelaide's Lament. And to sort of give you guys a background, this is when one of the male lead's fiance is sort of venting frustrations about their engagement going so long, their wedding being delayed so long, and basically the idea that she's getting from a book she's reading is that uh, the sort of cult-like symptoms that she's going through or whatever are a natural effect of that. And there's some good wordplay in the lyrics, and it gradually the vocal builds up, and it's a pretty good creative song for me.
Okay, and this is from what you said?
Guys and Dolls.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that. I'll have to find a copy somewhere.
And it's like, well, there was a movie made of it, starring Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando. I didn't see that, but I know about it.
All right.
Yeah. And then finally, I said America from West Side Story, which I briefly talked about with Jordan before we started recording this.
Yep.
I recently saw the film, the Spielberg movie on Disney Plus, and so and then it popped in my head. I want to add that to my list. So, and I added that because there's an interesting contrast of how different ones among the Puerto Rican characters feel about how life in America. One just sees the pros of it, and the other one sees it for what it often is, sort of racist and discriminating and meaning. And there's a nice little kind of back and forth musical dialogue there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so those are my favorites right there.
That is definitely a good selection.
Yeah. All right. My next question is: there seems to have been a trend lately of well-known films that had few to no original songs being turned into stage musicals. What are some such films you think have some strong potential for the musical theater?
I did write down some of them. One I said Ratatouille. I feel like it is a weird concept, and I feel like it would be difficult to portray some of the aspects, especially somebody getting controlled by a rat. But I feel like it has good potential for some musical numbers in there. So that's a possibility. This is kind of cheating, but I did write Tangled because I kind of wanted to bring this up partly because I feel since Frozen has a musical now, I feel like Tangled is just constantly being overshadowed by Frozen. So I feel like if Frozen has a musical, why not Tangled?
Personally, I think I prefer Tangled over Frozen.
I feel like there's a few people who do, and if people like Frozen more than Tangled, that's fine. I just feel like Tangled is constantly getting overlooked because of Frozen.
And in the coming weekend, I'm going to see the middle school I attended is doing a production of Frozen Junior, and one of our artists volunteers is starring in that, and I'm gonna go to that Saturday.
Okay. Then the next one I wrote down was The Princess Diaries, which are a couple of, I think they're Disney films with Anne
Yeah,
Hathaway and Julie Andrews. They do have some songs in there, some were borrowed, maybe one or two are original, I'm not sure, but it definitely has the potential since there is quite a bit of music in there.
I guess it makes sense with the princess concept. And I think there was one original song in there, but other than that, there probably wasn't anything.
Right. Then I wrote The Princess Bride. Now, whether or not it should ever become a musical, I'm not sure because it's already a classic on its own as a film. But many people hold this movie in high regard for one reason or another. So I would definitely think it'd be interesting to see a stage adaptation of it. And it could be for the scenes where it cuts back to the grandfather reading the story to the kid. The story itself could be off to one side for a moment and freeze while the light shines on the grandfather and grandson reading the story for a second before they leave the stage and show the story again. But that's just a concept idea.
Yeah, maybe that could work.
And this
Yeah.
one's kind of a strange one,
Okay.
but I wrote down with a question mark for this one the Star Wars films. And I only say that because there have been other big book, film series, whatever, that have gotten some form of musical like Harry Potter, which is also a big fantasy thing. So I think if Harry Potter can pull it off, maybe Star Wars can too. And under that same sort of idea, I could also see uh, if they can find a way to tell it properly, Narnia.
Yeah, that would be like, you know, that idea of a Narnia thing, something like, the Sight and Sound Theater that's in Pennsylvania.
Not sure I do.
Oh yeah, well they're a sort of theater company that does a bunch of like musical retellings on stage of biblical stories. Yeah, it's fun. We recently watched the story of Moses, and it was good.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and
And it's called what? It's called what again?
Sight and Sound Theater.
Sight and Sound. Okay, Sight and Sound,
Yep.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they got I think at least one location in Lancaster and maybe one in St. Louis or somewhere, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I put down a couple, and this might have partly to do with my favoring it among all movies in general. Toy Story. That and that technically had a few original songs in that film as it was. I don't know why, but for some reason I think that that could work. I guess it being a Disney property or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking maybe if they were to do that, they could do something similar to what they did with Shrek, where most of the songs in the stage version weren't found in the movie it was based on, with maybe one or two sprinkled in that people are familiar with. So I figure maybe Toy Story could do something like that. Like they could still do something like You've Got a Friend in Me towards the beginning or the end, and one or two more in there, and then the rest could be completely original for the stage version.
Well, one idea I had in mind that would probably make sense was have like because when they tasked Randy Newman with making a song for the movie, they said that they wanted a song that could apply to Woody's relationship with Andy, and then at the end to his relationship with Buzz. And so maybe having and having Woody maybe sing "You've Got a Friend at Me" early on and late in the show.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it would come full circle and tell the whole story.
Yeah, I think so. And then I put one other one. This may sound weird, but I put down The Founder, which is the film based on the origin story of the McDonald's chain. I was thinking, I guess because of the sort of Americana theme and how there's the big mega theme of like a business and ambition, it might have some potential to maybe be made into a sort of Hamilton-esque musical.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they told it right, I could see them doing that.
Yeah. So the next question, if certain musicals were to be recreated for a live special or Broadway show or movie, who do you think should play what role?
Now, this one was a bit difficult because it was hard for me to think of somebody that could play a certain role that didn't already do it themselves. But especially with a few of them still alive. But I did write down two, if it came specifically to like a special Broadway style movie or whatever. And the first was James Monroe Iglehart reprising his role as a genie, because he's been the one playing the genie on Broadway already for the longest time, and he absolutely nails it. You can find entire compilations of videos of just the genie and all the jokes he makes, and just him doing different scenes and whatever, and he does the role justice.
Was he the one who did that performance of "Friend Like Me" with the cast on that sing-along special on ABC?
You know, I didn't see it, so I can't confirm, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. I could be wrong, though.
They had like a whole like Broadway cast or something for that.
Then it was probably him, but
Yeah.
again, I didn't see it, so I can't say for sure.
All right.
And then the other one I thought of was for the role of Donkey, and I did want to say Eddie Murphy, but he had already done it multiple times. And then there was the guy on Broadway who did really well, but I wanted to try and find someone different who could possibly do it. And I feel maybe if it's done right, I could see Donkey in a Broadway style movie played by Kevin Hart.
Yeah, that's what I thought when after you said Donkey, Kevin Hart. Yeah, yeah, he's got that energy. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, like you said, he's got the energy, and then he's played other animal characters before with energy and humor, so I feel like he could pull this off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I might like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought of just one for Shrek the Musical. If they were to make that maybe into another live production or a special on NBC or a movie or something, I thought of, for the role of Princess Fiona, Lindsay Lohan.
Really?
I think I just based this like on her performance in the Freaky Friday movie in the 2000s. I think she's had the versatility. She can act anywhere she needs to, and she can be a little softer when she needs to. Which I think is the kind of thing the role would probably call for.
Okay, after you said that, I could see it being done.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe we'll get a production one day with Lindsay Lohan as Fiona and Kevin Hart as Donkey.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that could be like the next special that they do on NBC.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right. And I just had one last question. What are some positive messages that you see in some specific musicals?
Now, there's a few people could go with on this one. I wrote down 3, technically 4, but that's because 2 of them kind of share a similar message, and
All right.
those two would be Shrek and Aladdin. And for that one, I wrote down heroes can come from anywhere, and never judge a book by its cover,
Agreed. Yeah.
because both characters were kind of pushed away by society, and just the sheer sight of them, people would look at them with disgust or whatever. But then it turns out they're actually really good people. You just got to take the time to talk to them and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. For a long time, you can see them being put in negative boxes, and people only see probably the negative stuff that's on the surface. But after we spend enough time observing them, and we see there's more to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the next one I wrote down was Beauty and the Beast. And the positive message they even explicitly state at the beginning during the opening monologue when they say the words, beauty is found within.
Right.
Because, of course, you got the Beast, and he looks hideous, but given time, he kind of warms up and has a good heart, and he treats people the way they should be. So really, if you get past what's on the outside, you might find something even better. The last one I wrote was for Mary Poppins. And I was trying to think of a positive message for this one, and then I thought of the beginning of A Spoonful of Sugar, where she goes, "You find the fun and snap, the job's a game." So the positive message I kind of derived from that was there's always something good that can be found in something bad.
All right. And I put a few of my own, and the first one is 42nd Street, which my high school recently performed, and I was a few of our volunteers from artists were in that one, and I attended that with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's not the most interesting show that I've seen. It's really all about the making of a big live sort of Broadway-esque show. But the message I got from that, or that I see, is it takes hard work to achieve a big professional goal. Because in this show, you see stress, the grind, and the planning and organizing and dedication that goes into making what these characters are putting on what it is. And so for that reason, I put 42nd Street.
All right.
Yeah. And then I put Legally Blonde, the musical based on the book and movie. Another one that I saw at my high school. My brother was part of that in two small roles. And the message there, you can be smart and attractive and serious and fun.
Now that I can definitely agree with. I haven't seen the stage version, but I had seen the movie with, I think it was Reese Witherspoon.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, she kind of started out as this not necessarily snotty rich girl type person, but she
naive.
at first, yeah, that sort of thing. And it didn't seem at first like she would fit in like a law school, which is dead serious 24/7 or whatever. But she quickly adapted, and we see a different side of her. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this works.
Next, Hamilton. Did you see this on Disney Plus, Hamilton?
I have not seen it. No.
No, I did, and I said for this one, integrity and ambition can play key roles in shaping your future. Well, one storyline that I can kind of see throughout this story is the titular character Alexander Hamilton and trying to make it big in the political world or whatever. And there's one storyline that he has a long-lasting affair with a prostitute while his wife is not looking. And what he ends up doing when he gets caught or whatever, or when pressure is mounting, is he pretty much, in order to protect his political future, or for whatever reason, he pretty much publicly admits to doing this.
Hmm.
And from what it seems, I'm not really sure I understand his story, but it seems to me like he was really too focused on what he wanted for himself, and he proved himself to be someone of negative integrity, and then after he made the announcement, and he kind of lost a lot of people's respect, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so in a way, it can serve a cautionary tale purpose, I think.
Okay, yeah, we definitely need a few of those, especially now.
And then Lion King, which was the last one that we did with artists, is and I was thinking particularly about my character Scar. Too much pride and selfishness will not just harm yourself; it'll harm everyone around you. Which,
All right, and I also kind of feel Simba a little bit can fit into that. Again, just a little, because after he left, he pretty much refused to go back, even after initially finding out that Scar had taken over, because he didn't really want to face his past, despite the fact that, again, knowing Scar was running the joint, could pose a danger to the Pride Lands and everyone who lived there. But eventually he overcame that with some help, and when he did come back, everything started to get restored.
all right. And then Shrek, which we mentioned participating in earlier.
Hmm.
I also wrote my own thing for that. I said, even the least likable people have feelings, a story, and a crutch. Yeah. And I think I easiest see this in Fiona. She can be easily seen as bratty, irritable, demanding, and things like that. Yeah. But you can probably get an idea of where it's coming from, whether it's the expectations she's felt have been enforced on her, or whatever. And so for that, probably you can understand in Shrek's reasons for being kind of reserved around her initially, but maybe I guess you could say there's more than meets the eye in this case.
Well, sure. And with Fiona, you kind of get why she is the way she is, because especially in the musical, they specifically say that she was about 7 when she was put in the tower, and then they say how many days she was there, which, if turned into years, she would have been about 30 by the time she got out. So she was in the tower for about 23, 24 years. And that whole time, she didn't have much company aside from the dragon, which probably wasn't the best company. And it sounds like she at least had some books that told a lot of fairy tales. And those were the only stories she would have really known. So, since she was a princess like all of these other characters she was reading about, she expected her story to go the exact same way. And at first, when it didn't, she started to get upset because she didn't know what was supposed to happen if it didn't go exactly like the story.
Yeah, understandable, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So those are all the questions I had written down. I did come up with a quiz, a little game for you. Did you come up with one?
I did. Yeah. I ended up writing down, I think, 6 questions.
All right. Well, let's do yours first.
All right. Most of these have to do somehow with Artists Unlimited.
Okay.
And the first one was, what was the first musical that I did with them?
Hmm.
We've kind of
No, I
talked about it a
haven't
little
been.
bit before, but
So more than anything, this is probably a test of my memory. Okay.
if you don't know, that's perfectly fine. I figured I'd ask for giggles.
You I have a sort of instinct that it was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but I could be wrong.
I actually was not there for that one.
Hmm. Let's see. What else was there?
If it helps, I can start listing off ones that I've been in, and then if you hear the one that you think is it, you can stop me.
Okay.
All right. So in no particular order, I've done Mary Poppins, I've done Wizard of Oz, I've done Peter Pan, I've done Seussical, I've done Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, I've done Beauty and the Beast.
Is it Joseph?
It is Joseph.
Yeah, I think you said that before.
Yeah, I might have on occasion when we brought up Artists Unlimited. So I figured I'd ask to see if you happen to know. And then this one, I'm debating actually about asking you because you probably wouldn't know this. But what is the only musical that I have done twice? And one of them was with artists, but then another was with another theater group that did it in the same building, no less. But again, you probably wouldn't necessarily know that.
No, I don't believe I do.
Yeah, that's probably not a fair question. So I'll tell you,
Right.
It was Mary Poppins.
All right. Was the other one a school production or another community theater?
Well, in that same year, there was another theater group known as RAPA, spelled RAPA, or at least that's what it was abbreviated for.
Yeah, I think
And
I've been to
around
one of their performances.
you
Yeah, I
might
think I
have,
might
'cause
have been. Yeah, they're local.
yeah, I don't think rap exists at this point. The people that were in it are still doing theater-based stuff, but not as RAPA. But the year Mary Poppins was released to the public, a lot of people started doing it. And of course, Artist was one, and then Rappa was another that did it earlier that year. So after I did that one, and then they announced that Artist was also doing it, I kind of laughed because it's like, oh, I just did this, so I'm going to be very familiar with the script already.
Anyone who can do the same show twice in 1 year, power to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. This one you might know if you think about it. Which Artist Unlimited musical is the only one where I played the title character?
Ooh. All right. Did you guys do Peter Pan?
We did.
Because that was my first guess.
No, that was actually Peter Pan was actually played by a girl, which is not too
Oh,
uncommon actually, because usually if they're doing Broadway, Peter Pan's supposed to be a young boy, and some women can portray a younger boy very well. So nothing new.
oh yeah. Yeah, they did that on Broadway. They did that for a few years ago. They had that NBC special where Allison Williams from Girls played the role.
Yep.
Yeah.
But in our case, the one time I played the title character was actually a lot more recent than you think.
So maybe not Wizard of Oz then?
Even more recent than that.
Okay. So thinking maybe. So I'm guessing it would be before Little Mermaid.
Think about it.
Oh man.
The one we just did.
Lion King.
Yep.
Kind of a trick question there.
A little bit. Because most of the time I played a character that would interact a bit with the main character, but I wasn't usually the main one myself. But when we did The Lion King, I was the grown-up version of Simba. Now, technically, you could say Simba, Mufasa, or Scar, because they all were a Lion King at some point. Now, this might be a little bit of a fun one. For Artists Unlimited specifically, how many different accents have I had to do?
Well, let's see. There was one British for George Banks, one for Sebastian.
Yeah, that was Jamaican.
So, all right, so two there. I'm thinking maybe because the setting of Joseph is technically foreign, there might have been one there. But I could be wrong about that.
Well, with Joseph specifically, I didn't have an accent for most of the show, but for one particular song, I had an accent, which I also used in a later production of a character who has the same accent as in that song.
Well, there's some accents in Peter Pan, I believe. So would that count?
I guess you could count a pirate voice as an accent, sure.
Okay, so I guess that's 3 down.
Yeah, and think Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, Lumiere accent right there. 4.
Exactly. I believe. Got to flip through it myself. Think that's
is that it?
I think that's all of them. Yeah. So at this point, I've had to do 3, technically 4.
All right. 3 if you don't count the pirate.
Yeah. Now, these last 2 aren't about me specifically. I feel like 4 was already pushing it. But just about Artists Unlimited in general. Which musicals has Artists Unlimited done more than once? And as far as I know, there's only 2 that they've done that with.
Let's see. One of them is Joseph.
Yep, that was the very first one they did, and then they did it again when I came around.
Yeah, for the 10th anniversary.
Yep.
And
they might have done more than 2, but as far as I know, there were only 2. There might have been more. I don't know.
Yeah, I just might have to go through the whole list that I remember. Let's see. Grease, High School Musical, Seussical, Peter Pan, Wizard of Oz, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Mary Poppins.
Well, you did already say it. I will say that much.
All right. Grease?
As far as I know, they've only done that once.
Wizard of Oz?
There you go.
All right.
And this one I know for sure because one of our fellow actors, Dalton, he played the Cowardly Lion the first time. And when they went and decided to do it again, he decided not to do the show that year because he didn't want to run the possibility of playing the same character a second time. All right. And then the last one was, which musical did Artists Unlimited do shortly before the live action movie of the same name premiered in theaters?
I think I would have to guess Beauty and the Beast.
It was.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, when we did it, it was in the fall, and then I think the live action movie came out the following spring.
Yeah, so I guess the stars aligned there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. For my quiz, I've got a bunch of songs that were collaborations between well-known musical artists. Okay. And, I'll name the song and I'll help you out. I'll give you some clues to describe the artists that did them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Artists are not my specialty, but I'll give it my best shot.
And I'll try and make it easy.
Okay.
All right. So the first song is a song, I think it was at least Grammy nominated, and it was called Rain on Me. This was a collaboration between a former Nickelodeon star and the female lead of A Star Is Born.
What was the name of the song again?
Rain on Me.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah. I'll take one of the artists had a number of hits, including Problem, Break Free, and Thank You Next. And the other one's hits include Poker Face, Bad Romance, Paparazzi, and Born This Way.
Lady Gaga?
That's one. And then the other one, Thank You Next, Side to Side, was on the Nickelodeon show Victorious. Was involved in the Manchester concert shooting.
Oh, trying to picture that. Was it the girl who played the main character in Victorious?
She was
Or
like
no?
the sidekick or something.
Okay. I'm not quite sure who it would be then.
Ariana Grande.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot she was in that.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. All right. So you knew one of them, Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga, right? All right. All right. And next one is called Islands in the Stream. And one of the artists on this one recently turned down an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, had a biographical movie called Christmas of Many Colors or something like that, and had hit songs like Jolene, Sugar Hill Memories, 9 to 5, and has her own theme park in Tennessee.
now I actually happen to know who it was when you said that first part, turning down an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I actually read about it earlier today, and she was saying how she stepped down, I think, for the reason to avoid contention in between votes or whatever. Like, she didn't want to cause a ruckus where there didn't need to be, or I forget the exact wording, but that's kind of what she was saying. Maybe I'm rephrasing it completely wrong, but she did it for good reasons, and I'm pretty sure it was Dolly Parton.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I just found out that it was on.
Hang on, Seth, you're cutting out again.
Yeah, it's all right. And so her singing partner on the song was a legend of country music, known for the song "The Gambler," which he performed in a Geico commercial, and died not too long ago. And that's about all I know about him.
I know there was a guy she did at least one or two songs with. I can kind of sort of picture him, but I can't remember his name.
Kenny Rogers.
Yes. I knew it started with a K, but I couldn't think of it.
Yeah. All right. And this is a more, I guess, modern song, Timber. One of the artists on this one has nicknamed himself Mr. Worldwide, is known for songs like Fireball and other songs. Is a Hispanic or Latino rap star, who goes by a name that is also the name of a dog breed.
And is Timber the song where it's like, I'm going down, I'm yelling timber?
Yeah.
All right, so I at least know this song. Shoot, I feel like I should know this.
Yeah. It was Pitbull.
Was it him?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And then the other artist was topped the singles chart with her song TikTok, and more recently had a song called Praying. Yeah. Her name is styled with a dollar sign.
Kesha?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember some people write out her name with KE $HA.
Right.
And I recognize one of the songs you were talking about, but once you said that, then I could remember who it was.
Yeah. Right. This is an older song, Endless Love, and the male partner in the song is a current judge on the show American Idol, was in a group called the Commodores. And yeah, I think those are probably the big telling clues.
See, the problem is I haven't really seen much of American Idol, especially as of recent.
Yeah. All
I
right.
know
Lionel
who
Richie.
used to be on the show as a judge, but not so much now.
Yeah. It's Lionel Richie.
Okay.
All right. All right. And the other one was in a group called the Supremes, and her daughter is an actress on the show Blackish.
Which I also haven't seen.
Yeah. Diana Ross.
Diana, what?
Diana Ross.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. And this is one. The Girl Is Mine was a collab between one of the members of the groups The Beatles and Wings, and the other guy was a pop icon with hit songs like Bad, Dangerous, Billie Jean, and Beat It.
Well, I know that's Michael Jackson. As for the member of the Beatles, my first thought was Elton John.
No. No. Oh, he is credited with co-writing pretty much every Beatles song.
Trying to remember the actual names of the Beatles. Shoot. I feel like a lot of people are going to kill me for not knowing who these guys are or what their names are.
Please don't, people. Please.
Well, not literally, but they
Well,
make
well,
they might
yeah.
make comments saying like, "Really, you don't know who they are?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul McCartney.
right, that's the one I was trying to think of. Like I was
Yeah.
thinking Jesse McCartney, but I'm like, no, that's a more recent singer.
Yeah.
It was at
Yeah.
least a McCartney, just not the one I was thinking of.
No. All right. All right. And this is one that I remember from like my adolescent years called Smooth. And one of the guys is a or I should say the band led by the guy it's named after, who was a prolific Latino electric guitarist. They released an album called Supernatural, which won like a record 10 Grammys.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other one had a hit solo single with Lonely No More and was in a group called Matchbox 20.
I'm not familiar with these actually.
They are Santana and Rob Thomas.
I feel like I might have heard of Santana, not so much Rob Thomas.
All right.
Hmm.
All right. And next we have Stereo Hearts. Or, the main artist was a group um, with roots here, actually, in our town of Rochester.
Okay.
And one of the members had a solo hit with the song Billionaire. Yeah. And then the other person you mentioned in our quiz about stereotypes. I think
Okay.
it was, I think it's somebody I believe this is somebody you've also seen in concert. You've seen him and his group, right? Yep, yep. He's
Oh, did,
been a multiple-time coach and judge on The Voice.
yep, Adam Levine.
Yep, yep, and yep. It was Adam Levine and Gym Class Heroes.
Gym Class Heroes. Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. All right. I'm taking this one was a #1 hit in like the 90s, early 2000s or something. One Sweet Day. And this is an iconic female singer who recently performed on the New Year's Rockin' Eve, had an album called The Emancipation of Mimi, and also had songs called Hero and We Belong Together.
Oh, jeez. I got to think back to the New Year's Rockin' Eve now.
Yeah, she had a microphone issue or something during her performance, and that frustrated her.
Oh, man, I remember that too. What was her name?
Mariah Carey.
Oh, of course.
All right. All right. I'm taking then. All right, and she did this one with a prolific R&B group that has I'll take an African American R&B trio. Had a song called Motown Philly.
Motown Philly. I recognize the name of the song at least.
Boys to Men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. All right. And this is an older one called Stop Dragging My Heart Around. And one of the singers on that one was a member of the group Fleetwood Mac, and also, I believe, a solo artist for some time. A woman, the female part of Fleetwood Mac.
See, I have heard of Fleetwood Mac. I just don't know the band members.
All right. And then the other guy was had a backing band called the Heartbreakers, and released famous songs such as American Girl and Free Fallin'.
Okay, now I do know those songs. I can even hear the guy's voice in my head. I can't think of his name though.
Tom Petty.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks.
I feel like I should be doing better with some of these. I hear a lot of the songs that you're listing, but then when it comes to the actual person who did the song, I'm blanking.
Yeah. All right. I take, and this is another, I guess, modern hit, "Time of Our Lives." One of them, an African American guy you probably see with a hat all the time. He was a guest judge on America's Got Talent. Had his own song, "Let Me Love You Until You Learn to Love Yourself." And his
Sound
name
like
sounds the same as a certain character in The Matrix.
Neo?
Yes, yes, there you go.
Okay, because my first guess was Pharrell Williams, but that didn't sound right. So
Yeah. Yes, and then a guy I said earlier, dog breed.
oh, Pitbull.
Yep, yep, Neo and Pitbull.
Okay.
And all right, next one, girl from the North Country. One of them, probably the best known folk singer and most respected folk singer of all time, Subterranean Graduation Blues, or no, Homesick Blues, and another song. What's another one? The Times They Are a Changin'. Yeah, folk icon.
Folk icon.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other guy was the subject of the biopic, Walk the Line. Had a song, I Walk the Line, Folsom Prison Blues, God's Gonna Cut You Down, Ring of Fire.
Okay, Ring of Fire struck a chord, no pun intended. Ring of Fire, Ring of Fire. Who did Ring of Fire?
Johnny,
What was it?
Johnny Cash.
Oh, Johnny Cash, right.
Yeah, Johnny Cash, and the other one was Bob Dylan.
Okay, so I have heard those names, and I definitely have heard of Johnny Cash before. It just didn't connect, I guess.
All right. All right. I got one last one. It's Love Me Harder. And someone I said earlier, Nickelodeon actress.
Ariana Grande?
Yep. Yep. And the other one, Canadian pop star, alternative R&B star, did songs like I Feel It Coming, Starboy, Can't Feel My Face.
That one I'm not so sure about.
The Weeknd.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah.
What is The Weeknd one guy or is it a band?
It's a individual guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember The Weeknd performing at the Super Bowl and there was a group of people there, but I wasn't sure if they were part of a band or not, or if it was just him and they were kind of in the background.
Right. I did not see that halftime show, but I think it was like a sort of video thing that they did.
I was about to say it wasn't like a traditional Super Bowl where they performed directly on the field exactly. It seemed more like it was in an indoor warehouse type thing, maybe. But yeah, the style in which it was shot was definitely a bit different than most.
All right, so that was all I had for that one, and so
Okay.
we'll move on now to our news that bites and rocks portion of the show.
News that bites. I figured might as well bring up the fact that the situation with Russia and Ukraine is still going on. Although the upside to that is there are a lot of people backing Ukraine now because they should never have to go through something like this. And then on top of that, the president or whatever the leader of Ukraine's title is, he, instead of getting into like a private jet or something and getting the heck out of the country like he could have easily done, he voluntarily chose to stay behind and help defend his own country. So that's something good out of something bad. And many people have gotten respect for him for that. And then the news that rocks for me is more of a personal thing because not too long ago, I got a job with a YouTube channel called One Up Binge, where I am a freelance script writer for them, which means I write a script and then they use it for a video. And the first one that I worked on has now been made into a video form and has been posted for the public to see, which I am very excited about.
Yeah, I shared that with my Facebook friends. I saw it and it was good.
Thank you. They did make
Yeah.
some tweaks here and there, but most of what he said, I wrote.
Like, yeah, I was happy for you when I found out about that, and yeah, technically still am, but I was kind of excited, and take a felt like I had to share that.
Which is very much appreciated because it covered subject matter that I like. I could do it from home, and there was no set time in which I had to work on it, so it could be very flexible, so that all those factors made it very fun to do. And the next one should be coming out in the near future based on what they were telling me. but I don't want to say anything for sure in case they've fallen behind, which may be the case because they were telling me they had a lot to catch up on, which is understandable. But the next one I worked on that will come out at some point, I don't know when, but it will be answering the question, which Sonic the Hedgehog character could survive Squid Game?
Oh, yeah. Have you seen Squid Game?
I haven't seen the actual show, but I know enough of the concept and how the games that are being played on the show work that I felt I could make enough of an educated script as to who would most likely win. I already know a ton about Sonic, and I think I threw in 30 different characters. Uh, and again, I haven't seen the actual show, so I don't know much about who died, who won, what happened before or after, or all the big mysteries involved, like who's behind it. But I do know each of the games they play and how you're supposed to win and how you lose. So I figured taking that into account, I could probably figure out who would most likely win.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you,
Thank you.
and yeah, well, wish continued success with that. And I will. I'll go on to my thing that bites, and
Okay.
this I didn't see happen on TV, though technically that's where it happened. But I did find an article from CNN discussing what happened. So this happened on a recent episode of ABC's American Idol. Um,
Yeah.
Judges were voting on a contestant after hearing them perform. It was you could say it was a split vote in the end, and I think it was up to Lionel to cast the deciding vote. I think Lionel pretty much had some good reasoning, but Katy Perry would not stand for it. She was really, and she practically essentially said, "You people are insane," and literally stormed out of the studio.
Oh, geez. I mean, I feel like that's a little unprofessional. I mean, you don't have to agree with other people. Like the whole idea is that each judge might have a different opinion, and maybe she sees something that the others don't, and that kind of upset her. But I feel like you shouldn't storm off the stage.
I did have one thing that rocks though, and this is a more maybe not the most exciting thing, but at least it was interesting. And I found this. It's from Us Weekly magazine. It's a sort of little news piece following a day in the life of Cobra Kai actor Jacob Bertrand, who plays one of the kids in the show, Hawk. And basically, you get to see what some of his life is like behind the scenes. See him just doing normal activities, hanging out with friends, doing stuff, doing woodwork with his brother, and I guess I just like seeing people who can turn off the performer mode and be okay with publicly just being themselves or being normal people.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah,
definitely agree with that 100%.
yeah, yeah.
Like a guy that I personally have met before. I've talked about him a handful of times at this point. Vic Mignogna. He is a big name voice actor that I got the chance to meet. And you'd think since he plays these tough anime characters and whatever, you think he's going to be serious all the time. But no, he's very nice. He is very polite. He listens to every word you say. He is very excited to know whenever something that he worked on does something good for someone who watches it. And he is not afraid at all to express his faith. Like, he is a follower of Christ. And the convention where I met him, he had this whole segment dedicated to just talking about like why he believes what he believes. And at the beginning and end, he said a prayer over the mic for everybody to hear. So he was not afraid to be his true self.
You know, that story reminds me of, did you see the, I think this was in the news after it happened, the clip of, was it like, it was like, I think on CNBC or MSNBC or something, where the journalist asked the Bishop T.D. Jakes if he would like to lead them in a prayer.
I don't know if I saw that.
I think someone at my church congregation mentioned it one day, I think, and they were seemingly real happy about it.
Oh, understandable.
Yeah,
That's a big deal.
yeah. Okay, well, this has been a good run, I think, and
Yeah.
we will probably be back next weekend if scheduling allows. And meantime, you can continue to stream all our content on YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor.
Mhm.
Please ask any questions, leave any comments, and share any thoughts you have on anything we've discussed. And please keep the discussion going.
Absolutely. And if you have any ideas for what you want us to talk about in future episodes, whether it be based off something that's happening in the current day or something that's happened before, or something like this where we talk about something we're passionate about, like musicals, let us know, and maybe we'll do it in the future.
Yep. Bring your suggestions our way, and we'll think about it.
Absolutely.
All right. And all right, until next time, we are More Layers, and continue to enjoy the show, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time, everyone.